The bright lights of Los Angeles sparkled against the night sky as a sleek black car pulled up to the entrance of a famous talk show studio. Ana de Armas stepped out, her presence instantly drawing attention. She wore a stunning dress that shimmered under the flashing cameras, and her warm smile lit up the red carpet. Fans cheered loudly, holding up signs with her name and calling out words of encouragement. Ana waved graciously, stopping briefly to sign autographs and take selfies. Despite the glamorous setting, she felt nervous. It wasn't the first time. She'd been on a talk show, but something about tonight felt different. Inside the studio, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Crew members rushed around making final preparations while the audience filled their seats, chatting animatedly about the star-studded lineup. Tonight's episode promised to be memorable, featuring not only Ana but also Keanu Reeves, one of Hollywood's most beloved actors. The host of the show, however, was known for his sharp wit and edgy humor. His jokes often walked a fine line between clever and cruel, leaving guests squirming in their chairs. Ana had seen clips of his previous episodes and knew what to expect, but nothing could fully prepare her for what was about to happen. As the opening music played, the host bounded onto the stage, greeted by thunderous applause. He grinned widely, shaking hands with audience members before taking his seat behind the desk. "Welcome, everyone," he boomed, his voice dripping with charm. "We've got an incredible show for you tonight. First up, we have the beautiful and talented Ana de Armas." The crowd erupted into cheers as Ana walked onto the stage, her heels clicking softly against the floor. She waved at the audience, her smile radiant despite the butterflies fluttering in her stomach. The host stood to greet her, pulling out her chair before sitting back down. "Ana, welcome to the show," he said, his tone overly enthusiastic. "It's such a pleasure to have you here." Ana nodded politely, thanking him as she settled into her seat. For a moment, everything seemed normal. He asked her about her latest movie, complimenting her performance and praising her growing success in Hollywood. But then, without warning, his demeanor shifted. His grin turned sly, and his questions took on a mocking edge. "So, Ana," he began, leaning back in his chair, "I heard your accent is, well, let's just say it's unique. Where exactly are you from again?" The question hung in the air, laced with sarcasm. Ana hesitated for a split second before answering calmly. "I'm from Cuba," she replied, her voice steady. "But I've lived in many places since starting my career." The host chuckled, clearly unimpressed. "Ah, yes, Cuba. That explains the accent. Do you think Americans can understand you when you speak?" A few scattered laughs came from the audience, though most people looked uncomfortable. Ana forced a smile, choosing not to engage. "I hope so," she said lightly, trying to keep the mood positive. But the host wasn't done. He moved on to her filmography, pointing out some of her less successful projects. "You've been in quite a few movies lately," he remarked, raising an eyebrow. "Some hits, some misses. How do you decide which roles to take? Or is it just whoever will hire you?" The room fell silent. Even the crew stopped moving, sensing the tension. Ana took a deep breath, her composure unwavering. "Every role I choose is important to me," she explained. "I look for characters that challenge me and stories that resonate with audiences." Unsatisfied, the host pressed further, bringing up rumors about her personal life. "And what about all those tabloid headlines? You must get tired of people talking about you nonstop." This time, Ana didn't respond immediately. She glanced at the audience, searching for support, but found only sympathetic faces. Finally, she spoke, her voice softer now. "I try not to pay too much attention to what others say. My focus is on my work and my family." The host smirked, clearly, enjoying himself. "Fair enough," he said dismissively, moving on to another topic. But the damage was done. Ana sat quietly, her smile strained as the segment dragged on. Backstage, Keanu Reeves watched the entire exchange unfold on a monitor. He had arrived early to prepare for his own appearance and decided to catch part of Ana's interview. At first, he paid little attention, scrolling through his phone as the host cracked harmless jokes. But when the tone shifted, Keanu looked up, his brow furrowing in concern. He listened intently as the host mocked Anna's accent, criticized her career choices, and pried into her private life. Each comment made his fists clench tighter. By the time the segment ended, Keanu was seething. He knew the entertainment industry could be brutal, especially for women and people of color. As someone who had faced his share of scrutiny over the years, Keanu understood how isolating it could feel to be singled out. But this was different. This wasn't playful banter or constructive criticism. It was pure cruelty, disguised as humor. And Anna, graceful as always, hadn't deserved any of it. Keanu resolved to say something when it was his turn on stage. He wouldn't let the host's behavior slide. Not tonight. When the producer signaled that it was time for Keanu's segment, he straightened his jacket and headed toward the stage. The audience roared with excitement as he appeared, his calm demeanor masking the storm brewing inside him. The host greeted him warmly, attempting to reset the mood after Anna's uncomfortable interview. "Keanu, great to see you, man," he said, shaking hands. "You're looking good, as always." Keanu nodded politely, taking his seat. For a brief moment, the two exchanged pleasantries, discussing Keanu's recent projects and upcoming releases. But Keanu wasn't there to play along. He had a message to deliver. As the host launched into his usual routine of teasing remarks, Keanu leaned forward slightly, his piercing gaze locking onto the man across the desk. "You know," he said, his voice calm yet firm, "Anna is one of the most talented actors I've ever worked with. She brings authenticity and heart to everything she does. Mocking someone like her doesn't make you funny, it just makes you cruel." The words hit like a punch, silencing the host mid-sentence. The audience gasped, then erupted into applause, cheering loudly for Keanu's unexpected defense of Anna. For the first time in years, the host was rendered speechless. His face flushed red as he struggled to recover, stammering out a weak response. But Keanu wasn't finished. He continued, addressing the importance of kindness and respect in an industry often driven by ego and competition. His words resonated deeply, not just with the live audience but with viewers watching at home. Social media exploded with reactions, hailing Keanu as a hero and condemning the host's behavior. In that moment, Keanu proved that standing up for others isn't just admirable, it's necessary. The studio lights dimmed slightly as Keanu settled into his chair, his presence commanding yet calm. The host, still reeling from Keanu's unexpected comment, tried to regain control of the situation. "Well, Keanu," he began with a nervous laugh, "you're always full of surprises, aren't you?" His attempt at humor fell flat, met with only polite chuckles from the audience. Keanu didn't respond immediately. Instead, he leaned back in his seat, his expression thoughtful, but firm. He wasn't there to entertain the host or play along with his antics. He was there to make a point. "You know," Keanu continued, his voice steady and measured, "we all get criticized in this business. It comes with the territory. But there's a difference between constructive criticism and tearing someone down for no reason. What happened earlier tonight, that wasn't funny, it was disrespectful." The audience erupted into applause again, their cheers echoing through the studio. Some people even stood up, clapping enthusiastically as if to show their support for both Keanu and Anna. The host shifted uncomfortably in his chair, his usual bravado crumbling under the weight of Keanu's words. Keanu didn't stop there. He went on to share a personal story, one that resonated deeply with everyone in the room. "When I first started out," he said, his tone softer now, "people doubted me all the time. They told me I wasn't good enough, that I didn't fit the mold. And sure, some of those comments were tough to hear. But they weren't meant to hurt me. They were meant to push me to be better. There's a line between challenging someone and being cruel, and we crossed it tonight." His words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The host tried to interrupt, attempting to steer the conversation back to safer ground. "Come on, Keanu," he said with a forced grin. "It's just a talk show. We're here to have fun, right?" But Keanu didn't budge. He looked directly at the host, his gaze unwavering. "Fun shouldn't come at someone else's expense," he replied simply. "Anna didn't deserve that treatment. She's worked hard to get where she is, and she deserves respect, just like anyone else in this industry. The audience cheered again, louder this time, their energy electric. For many of them, Keanu wasn't just defending Anna. He was standing up for everyone who had ever been treated unfairly or dismissed because of who they were. As the segment progressed, Keanu kept the focus on kindness and professionalism. He praised Anna's talent and dedication, recounting moments from their time working together. "She's one of the hardest working people I've ever met," he said warmly. "She pours her heart into every role, and she brings something special to every project. Mocking her accent or her choices doesn't change any of that. It just makes us look bad." His words struck a chord with the audience, many of whom nodded in agreement. Even some members of the crew, who had remained silent throughout the year, tense exchanged glances, clearly moved by Keanu's sincerity. By the time Keanu's segment ended, the mood in the studio had shifted completely. The initial awkwardness and tension had given way to a sense of unity and admiration. As Keanu stood to leave, the audience rose to their feet, giving him a standing ovation. He waved briefly, his face breaking into a small smile before he disappeared, backstage. The host, visibly flustered, struggled to wrap up the show, his usual confidence replaced by an uneasy silence. It was clear that Keanu's actions had left a lasting impression, not just on the live audience but on viewers watching from home. Backstage, Anna waited anxiously, unsure of how things had unfolded during Keanu's appearance. When he emerged from the set, she approached him tentatively, her eyes wide with gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice trembling slightly. "That meant so much to me." Keanu smiled warmly, brushing off her thanks as if it were nothing. "No one deserves to be treated like that," he replied simply. "You handled yourself with grace, and I wanted to make sure people knew how amazing you are." Their brief conversation was interrupted by the sound of phones buzzing and notifications pinging. Social media had already exploded with reactions to the incident. Clips of Keanu's defense of Anna were going viral, sparking heated debates about professionalism, accountability, and the role of humor in public platforms. Fans flooded Twitter and Instagram with messages of support for both stars, hailing Keanu as a hero and condemning the host's behavior. Memes and hashtags praising Keanu's actions spread like wildfire, turning the incident into a cultural moment. Meanwhile, the host retreated to his dressing room, his face pale and his hands shaking. He scrolled through his phone, reading the barrage of negative comments and criticisms aimed at him. For years, he had prided himself on his edgy humor and quick wit, believing that pushing boundaries was what made him successful. But now, faced with the backlash, he realized he might have gone too far. Calls for his resignation began trending online, and sponsors started pulling their advertisements from the show. The once beloved talk show host found himself at the center of a controversy that threatened to end his career. Anna, on the other hand, felt a wave of relief wash over her. While the evening had been difficult, Keanu's intervention had turned the tide in her favor. Messages of encouragement poured in from fans and colleagues alike, praising her for maintaining her composure despite the host's jabs. Her agent called to congratulate her on handling the situation with grace, while close friends reached out to offer their support. For the first time since the interview began, Anna allowed herself to breathe deeply, knowing she had emerged stronger from the experience. As the night wore on, the impact of Keanu's actions became increasingly clear. Viewers around the world tuned in to watch the replay, sharing their thoughts and feelings about what had transpired. Many expressed admiration for Keanu's courage, calling him a role model for standing up against bullying and cruelty. Others reflected on the importance of treating others with kindness and respect, regardless of their status or background. The incident served as a powerful reminder that words matter, and that using them to uplift rather than tear down can make all the difference. For Anna and Keanu, the evening marked the beginning of a new chapter. Though neither had anticipated the events that unfolded, they had handled themselves with dignity and integrity. Their actions inspired countless people, sparking conversations about empathy and accountability in an industry often criticized for its lack of compassion. As they parted ways after the show, both felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing they had contributed to something bigger than themselves. And though the road ahead would undoubtedly bring challenges, they faced it, with the knowledge that standing up for what's right is always worth it. The days following the talk show incident felt like a whirlwind for both Anna and Keanu. News outlets couldn't stop talking about what had happened. Headlines blared across television screens and online articles, dissecting every moment of the heated exchange. Social media remained ablaze with hashtags like Chakra Stand with Anna and Keanu the Hero trending worldwide. Fans shared memes, heartfelt messages, and even fan art celebrating Keanu's bold stance. For Anna, the support was overwhelming but also healing. She spent hours reading through comments from people who admired her resilience and thanked her for staying composed despite the host's cruel remarks. Anna knew that moments like these were rare in Hollywood. In an industry where image often mattered more than substance, standing up for oneself could feel risky. But Keanu's actions had changed the narrative entirely. Instead of being remembered as the guest who endured mockery, she was now seen as someone who inspired others to speak out against unfair treatment. Her phone buzzed constantly with calls, and texts from friends, family, and fellow actors offering words of encouragement. Even strangers reached out, sharing stories of their own experiences with bullying or discrimination, and thanking her for reminding them that they weren't alone. Keanu, too, found himself at the center of attention, but not in a way that made him uncomfortable. Known for his quiet humility and aversion to the spotlight, he hadn't expected his defense of Anna to resonate so deeply with people. Yet everywhere he went, fans approached him to express their gratitude. Some told him how his words had restored their faith in humanity, while others simply said, "Thank you for doing the right thing." Keanu accepted their praise graciously, but never let it go to his head. To him, speaking up for Anna wasn't extraordinary. It was just something anyone should have done. Meanwhile, the talk show host faced mounting pressure as the backlash intensified. What started as scattered criticism quickly grew into a full-blown movement calling for accountability. Viewers flooded social media with complaints, accusing him of crossing ethical boundaries and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Sponsors began pulling their advertisements, citing concerns over his behavior and its impact on their brands. Within days, several major companies announced they would no longer partner with the show, leaving the production scrambling to fill the financial gap. The once popular program, which had consistently drawn high ratings, saw a sharp decline in viewership as audiences turned away in disgust. Behind closed doors, the host tried to salvage his reputation. He issued a public apology during the next episode, claiming his comments were meant in jest and insisting he held no ill will toward Anna. "I'm sorry if anyone was offended," he said, his tone hesitant and unconvincing. "That was never my intention." But the apology rang hollow. Many viewers pointed out that his words lacked sincerity and failed to address the deeper issues at play. Critics argued that true remorse required more than a scripted statement. It demanded reflection, accountability, and a commitment to change. Unfortunately for the host, his attempts to save face only fueled further skepticism. As the controversy unfolded, Anna and Keanu found themselves reflecting on the broader implications of the incident. Both recognized that the issue extended beyond one rude comment or one talk show host. It was symptomatic of a larger problem within the entertainment industry, a culture that often prioritized shock value over respect and kindness. They realized they had an opportunity to use their platform to spark meaningful change. Inspired by the outpouring of support they'd received, they decided to collaborate on a project aimed at promoting empathy and inclusion in Hollywood. Their idea took shape over coffee one afternoon. Anna met Keanu at a cozy cafe tucked away in a quiet corner of Los Angeles. Over steaming cups of espresso, they brainstormed ways to turn the negative experience into something positive. What if we created a space where young artists could learn to navigate this industry without losing sight of who they are? Anna suggested, her eyes lighting up with excitement. Keanu nodded enthusiastically. A place where they can find support and guidance, he added. Where they know it's okay to be vulnerable and ask for help. Together, they envisioned a series of workshops and mentorship programs designed to empower aspiring actors, writers, and filmmakers. The initiative would focus on teaching participants how to handle criticism constructively, advocate for themselves professionally, and treat others with kindness and respect. They also planned to invite industry veterans to share their experiences, offering advice on everything from dealing with rejection to navigating difficult relationships on set. By fostering a sense of community and mutual support, Anna and Keanu hoped to create a ripple effect that would extend far beyond their immediate circle. Word of their collaboration spread quickly, drawing widespread praise from fans and colleagues alike. Many prominent figures in Hollywood expressed interest in joining the effort, eager to contribute their time and resources. Directors, producers, and actors reached out to offer their support, recognizing the importance of addressing systemic issues within the industry. Even organizations dedicated to diversity and inclusion reached out, offering partnerships and funding opportunities. The response was overwhelmingly positive, reaffirming Anna and Keanu's belief that change was possible, if enough people were willing to work toward it. For Anna, the project became a source of renewed purpose. After years of focusing solely on her acting career, she embraced the chance to give back to the community that had shaped her. She poured her energy into planning sessions, meeting with potential collaborators, and drafting proposals. Each step brought her closer to realizing her vision of a kinder, more inclusive industry. At the same time, she continued to reflect on her own journey, drawing strength from the challenges she had overcome. Knowing that her story could inspire others gave her a profound sense of fulfillment. Keanu, too, found joy in the endeavor. Though he had always been passionate about giving back, whether through charitable donations or hands-on volunteer work, this project allowed him to make a tangible difference in an area close to his heart. He relished the opportunity to connect with young artists, sharing insights from his decades-long career while learning from their fresh perspectives. His calm demeanor and genuine interest made him a natural mentor, earning him the trust and admiration of everyone involved. Together, he and Anna formed a dynamic partnership, their shared values and complementary strengths driving the initiative forward. As weeks turned into months, the fruits of their labor began to take shape. The first workshop launched to great success, attracting participants from all walks of life. Attendees left feeling inspired and equipped with practical tools to navigate the complexities of the entertainment world. Stories of transformation emerged, with many crediting the program for helping them find their voice and pursue their dreams with confidence. Anna and Keanu watched with pride as their vision came to life, knowing they had planted seeds of change that would continue to grow long after the workshops ended. For the talk show host, however, the aftermath proved far less forgiving. Despite his attempts to rebuild his image, the damage was done. Ratings for his show plummeted and advertisers refused to return. Eventually, the network decided to cancel the program altogether, citing declining viewership and irreparable harm to its brand. The host faded into obscurity, his name becoming synonymous with the very behavior he had tried to justify. While some might have viewed his downfall as poetic justice, Anna and Keanu chose not to dwell on it. Instead, they focused on the future, determined to channel their energy into creating a better, more compassionate industry. In the end, the incident served as a turning point, not just for Anna and Keanu, but for countless others who looked to them as examples of integrity and courage. Their actions reminded the world that standing up for what's right isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. And though the road ahead would undoubtedly bring challenges, they faced it together, united by a shared belief in the power of kindness to transform lives. The ripple effects of Anna and Keanu's collaboration continued to spread far beyond what either of them had imagined. As their workshops gained traction, the message of kindness and professionalism began to resonate not just within Hollywood, but across industries worldwide. People from all walks of life tuned in to virtual sessions or attended in-person events, eager to learn from the two stars who had turned a negative experience into something transformative. What started as a small initiative quickly grew into a movement, inspiring countless individuals to rethink how they treated others in their own lives. Anna took on a leadership role in organizing the workshops, her natural warmth and empathy making her an ideal mentor. She spent hours preparing materials, designing interactive activities and connecting with participants to ensure they felt heard and valued. During the sessions, she shared personal stories about her journey in Hollywood, moments of triumph as well as struggles she had faced along the way. Her honesty created a safe space for others to open up about their own challenges, fostering a sense of camaraderie among attendees. Many left the workshop saying they felt seen and understood for the first time in their careers. Keanu complimented Anna's efforts by focusing on practical advice for navigating difficult situations. Drawing. From his decades of experience in the industry, he offered tips on staying true to oneself while working in high-pressure environments. He emphasized the importance of boundaries, teaching participants how to assert themselves without being confrontational. It's okay to say no, he often reminded them. You don't have to compromise your values to succeed. His calm demeanor and straightforward approach made even the most intimidating topics feel approachable. One of the most impactful aspects of the program was its emphasis on community. Anna and Keanu encouraged participants to form support networks, creating spaces where they could share resources, celebrate successes, and lean on one another during tough times. These connections proved invaluable, especially for newcomers trying to break into competitive fields. For many, the workshops became more than just educational. They were lifelines that helped them stay grounded amidst uncertainty. As word of the initiative spread, so did its influence. Media outlets picked up on the story, highlighting Anna and Keanu's efforts to promote kindness and inclusion. Interviews, articles, and features showcased their dedication to making a difference, further amplifying their message. Fans rallied behind the cause, sharing their own experiences of overcoming adversity and encouraging others to join the movement. The hashtag Kindness in Action trended globally, sparking conversations about empathy and respect in workplaces everywhere. Even established figures in Hollywood began taking notice. Directors, producers, and casting agents reached out to express their admiration for the project and inquire about ways they could contribute. Some offered to host panels or lead discussions at future workshops, while others pledged financial support to help expand the program's reach. Industry leaders also started implementing changes within their own organizations, adopting policies aimed at fostering safer and more inclusive environments. Slowly but surely, the culture began to shift. For Anna, seeing this widespread impact filled her with pride and relief. She had always believed in the power of collective action, but witnessing it firsthand was profoundly moving. Knowing that her voice had helped spark such meaningful change gave her a renewed sense of purpose. She threw herself into the work, wholeheartedly, determined to keep pushing boundaries and breaking down barriers. Her resilience inspired those around her, reinforcing the idea that even in the face of adversity, one person's courage could ignite a chain reaction. Keanu, meanwhile, found fulfillment in watching others grow. He thrived on the energy of the participants, feeding off their enthusiasm and determination. Seeing young artists light up when they realized their potential reminded him why he loved storytelling in the first place. It wasn't just about fame or accolades. It was about connection, about using art to make the world a better place. Through these workshops, he saw firsthand how much untapped talent existed outside traditional circles, waiting for the right opportunities to shine. Despite their growing success, neither Anna nor Keanu lost sight of the bigger picture. They knew there was still much work to be done, both in Hollywood and beyond. While their workshops addressed immediate needs, they recognized the importance of systemic change. To tackle deeper-rooted issues like bias and inequality, they partnered with advocacy groups and research institutions to develop long-term strategies. Together, they worked toward creating policies that prioritized fairness and accountability in hiring practices, pay equity, and representation. Their efforts didn't go unnoticed. Awards ceremonies began honoring Anna and Keanu, not just for their artistic achievements but also for their humanitarian contributions. Speeches praising their commitment to kindness and inclusion became common, further cementing their status as role models. Yet neither sought recognition for their actions. Both insisted that the real heroes were the participants, the brave individuals stepping forward to challenge outdated norms and demand better treatment for everyone. Back in the entertainment world, The fallout from the talk show incident lingered. The host's career never recovered, and his name became synonymous with poor judgment and unprofessionalism. Networks tightened regulations around late-night programming, ensuring hosts maintained a baseline level of respect for their guests. Viewers grew more vocal about holding public figures accountable, refusing to tolerate behavior that crossed ethical lines. In many ways, the incident served as a wake-up call, an opportunity for the industry to reflect on its practices and commit to doing better. For Anna and Keanu, the experience reinforced the importance of standing up for what's right, even when it feels daunting. They had shown the world that speaking out against injustice wasn't just admirable, it was necessary. Their actions reminded people that silence could perpetuate harm, while courage could inspire change. By choosing to address the issue head-on, they had sparked a conversation that transcended borders and industries, proving that kindness truly was a universal language. As the months passed, Anna and Keanu deepened their friendship, bonding over their shared mission and mutual admiration. Spending time together outside of work allowed them to appreciate each other's strengths and quirks. Anna marveled at Keanu's ability to remain calm under pressure, while Keanu admired Anna's boundless optimism and resilience. Their partnership blossomed into a genuine connection, built on trust and respect. Though they came from different backgrounds and had unique paths in life, they discovered they shared core values that united them. Both believed in hard work, humility, and the power of lifting others up. These principles guided everything they did, from planning workshops to mentoring young artists. They approached every challenge with the same determination, knowing that their efforts could create lasting change. By the end of the year, the workshops had touched thousands of lives, transforming not only individual careers, but entire communities. Participants reported feeling more confident, supported, and empowered to pursue their dreams. Stories of success poured in, from actors landing breakout roles to writers publishing their debut novels. Each achievement served as proof that the program was working, validating Anna and Keanu's belief in the power of collective effort. Looking ahead, they dreamed of expanding the initiative even further. Plans were underway to launch international chapters, bringing the workshops to countries where access to mentorship and resources was limited. They envisioned a global network of artists supporting one another, united by a shared commitment to kindness and excellence. It was an ambitious goal, but if anyone could make it happen, it was Anna and Keanu. Through it all, they remained humble, acknowledging that they were part of something larger than themselves. Their journey had taught them that true strength lay not in individual accomplishments, but in the ability to inspire others to rise alongside you. And as they stood side by side, ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead, they knew they had already achieved something extraordinary, a legacy of compassion and hope that would endure for generations to come. As the years passed, Anna and Keanu's initiative continued to flourish, leaving an indelible mark on the world. What had begun as a response to a single unpleasant incident had grown into a global phenomenon, reshaping industries and inspiring countless lives. Their workshops were no longer just events. They had become institutions, places where people from all walks of life could come together to learn, grow, and support one another. The ripple effects of their efforts were felt far beyond Hollywood, influencing sectors like fashion, music, technology, and even politics. Anna and Keanu remained at the heart of the movement, but they also stepped back enough to let others take the reins. They understood that true sustainability meant empowering others to carry the torch. Young artists who had once attended their workshops now led sessions themselves, sharing their experiences and insights with newcomers. These leaders brought fresh perspectives and innovative ideas, ensuring the program stayed relevant in an ever-changing world. Anna and Keanu watched proudly as their vision transformed into something bigger than either of them could have imagined. The workshops evolved over time, adapting to meet the needs of different communities. In rural areas, they focused on providing access to resources for aspiring creators who lacked opportunities due to geographic or economic barriers. Online platforms expanded to include mentorship programs, connecting participants with industry professionals willing to offer guidance and advice. Virtual reality simulations allowed users to experience what it was like to work in various creative fields, helping them make informed decisions about their careers. Every innovation reinforced the core values of kindness, inclusivity, and collaboration. Anna found immense joy in seeing how the program had grown. She often reflected on her own journey, remembering the early days when she had felt so uncertain about her place in the world. Now she saw herself in the eyes of young actors, writers, and filmmakers eager to prove themselves. She made it a point to attend as many workshops as possible, not just to teach but to listen. Her humility and openness created a safe space for participants to share their struggles and dreams. Many said meeting her changed their lives not because of her fame, but because of her genuine care for their well-being. Keanu, too, remained deeply involved, though he preferred working behind the scenes. He spent hours reviewing proposals, securing funding, and building partnerships with organizations committed to social change. His calm demeanor and problem-solving skills made him an invaluable asset to the team. When he did step into the spotlight, it was always with purpose. Whether speaking at conferences or participating in panel discussions, he used his platform to advocate for systemic reforms that prioritized fairness and equity. His quiet strength inspired those around him to believe in the possibility of a better future. One of the most significant milestones came when the initiative received international recognition. A prestigious humanitarian award honored Anna and Keanu for their contributions to creating a more compassionate and inclusive entertainment industry. Accepting the honor together, they emphasized that the real winners were the participants whose lives had been transformed by the program. "We didn't do this alone," Anna said during her acceptance speech. "Every person who has ever attended a workshop, shared their story, or supported someone else is part of this achievement." The award brought even more attention to the cause, attracting new partners and sponsors eager to contribute. Major tech companies donated equipment to underserved communities, while universities offered scholarships to promising young artists. Governments began implementing policies aimed at fostering creativity and reducing barriers to entry in creative industries. The movement had sparked a cultural shift, proving that collective action could lead to meaningful change. Despite their success, Anna and Keanu never lost sight of the challenges that still existed. They knew that progress was fragile and required constant vigilance. Issues like pay inequality, lack of representation, and workplace harassment continued to plague many industries. But instead of feeling discouraged, they viewed these challenges as opportunities to innovate and adapt. They launched new initiatives targeting specific problems, such as grants for underrepresented groups and campaigns to raise awareness about mental health in high-pressure environments. Their friendship deepened over the years, becoming one of mutual admiration and trust. Anna admired Keanu's unwavering commitment to doing the right thing, while Keanu respected Anna's resilience and ability to inspire others. They often joked that if they hadn't met during that fateful talk show episode, their paths might never have crossed. Yet fate had brought them together, uniting them in a shared mission that had enriched both their lives. As they looked toward the future, Anna and Keanu dreamed of expanding the initiative even further. Plans were underway to establish permanent centers in major cities around the world, offering year-round programming and resources. They envisioned a network of hubs where artists could collaborate, experiment, and grow without fear of judgment or rejection. It was an ambitious goal, but they believed anything was possible with determination and teamwork. They also recognized the importance of passing the baton to the next generation. Young leaders who had emerged through the program were already taking on leadership roles, bringing fresh energy and ideas to the table. Anna and Keanu mentored these individuals, teaching them the skills they needed to sustain and grow the movement. They knew that their legacy wouldn't be measured by what they achieved personally, but by the impact they left behind. By the time they celebrated the initiative's 10th anniversary, the world had changed dramatically. Industries that were once dominated by exclusivity and elitism now embraced diversity and inclusion. Audiences demanded authentic stories told by voices that reflected their lived experiences. Social media served as a tool for amplifying marginalized voices rather than silencing them, and kindness, once dismissed as naive or impractical, became a guiding principle for success. At the anniversary event, Held in a packed auditorium filled with participants, mentors, and supporters, Anna and Keanu took the stage together. The crowd erupted into applause, standing to honor the two individuals who had sparked a revolution. Anna wiped away tears as she thanked everyone for their hard work and dedication. "This isn't our story," she said. "It's yours. You are the ones making the difference every day." Keanu echoed her sentiments, reminding the audience that the journey was far from over. "There's still so much to do," he said, "but if we keep working together, there's nothing we can't achieve." As the evening drew to a close, Anna and Keanu stood side by side, watching as participants mingled and celebrated. They exchanged a glance, wordlessly acknowledging the magnitude of what they had accomplished. Neither had set out to change the world. They had simply wanted to make it a little kinder. But in doing so, they had ignited a movement that transcended borders, cultures, and generations. Their story served as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, courage and compassion could create ripples of change. By standing up for what was right, they had inspired others to do the same. And though the road ahead would undoubtedly bring new challenges, they faced it with hope and determination, knowing they weren't alone. Together, they had proven that kindness wasn't just a virtue, it was a force capable of transforming the world.